Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the WhiskAYE podcast with your two favourite, increasingly inebriated hosts. This one is a Christmas in March, as it's famous kind of tradition, as you know. Probably uploaded just in time for Christmas. This is, as usual, with the Dram Team boxes that we always drink around Christmas time. This is a very sherry whiskeymas. You can probably guess what the theme's going to be here. And this is, I guess, more of a kind of lo-fi episode in that you won't have our usual segments, our Josh's Journeys or our whiskey talk, because technical reasons, mainly that we're tired and old and we're thinking about its content and how we want to take it forward. So we wanted to get something recorded and probably more importantly, also something drunk.
As of today, both 4 boxes behind. So
yes,
we needed to get into that.
So
start clearing some of the cardboard.
Indeed. So hopefully, as you listen to this one, because there is that kind of delay for us, we'll have figured a few things out and the next ones will be different. But we've said that a lot, so don't hold your breath. Anyway, without any further preamble, I will get into the card. So it's a very sherry whiskeymas. And it says, as is tradition, we've lined up 6 stunning sherry-driven drams to bring you a box full of festive flavours. Rich fruit, nut and Christmas cake notes abound in this eclectic mix of Christmas spirit from Scotland and far beyond. A very merry sherry whiskeymas to one and all from the Dram Team. So, ho, 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 merry whiskeymas.
Yeah. Also opened with As Is Tradition, which just reminds me of the South Park episode with the Canadian royal wedding.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. He's like,
I think so.
And now the prince will rip off the princess's arm, dip it in the chocolate pudding or whatever. As is tradition.
As is tradition. So, as is tradition, do you want to introduce our first one?
I will. So, the first one is got a bit of an odd name. It's just called 48, and it's aged 10 years. That's in
numbers as well, isn't it? That's not written out.
Yeah, just the literal number 48, which is aged 10 years by Heroes and Heretics. Says, this mystery blend of Scotch malts was aged 10 years, including a finishing flourish in a sherry butt. The disco-themed label pays homage to the 80s, and as indie bottlers, Heroes and Heretics put it, the liquid is evocative of popping candy, cream soda, a summer breeze, and fluffy dice. Have you got
You didn't really
there?
enunciate fluffy dice right there.
And fluffy dice?
There you go.
It was a ampersand, not an ampersand, an interrobang punctuation on that. So, ampersand, that'd be a weird end to a sentence.
It would.
But yeah, so on the nose, you should get honeycomb and sultana, followed by fresh barley and a touch of charred oak. And then in the palate, actually we do nose, and then it's been a while. Practice, guys. Yeah,
it's been a while.
I get to pour mine into my glass before we talk about the palate.
I can get sultanas, and definitely like an oakiness to it.
Do you get popping candy from the?
No, but I'm thinking if it's that kind of flavors, it's either a muscatel or a fino cask.
I believe we. No, that was when we were. That was a different thing when we set up a tasting of whiskey. With
because
sherry.
You can generally tell an Oloroso cask from looking at it because it's dark red generally. Pedro Jimenez is generally like a spicier kind of sherryness. These kind of softer flavors, I think, is fino or muscatel. And some say muscatel is sherry and some say it's wine. So some people are probably like, muscatel, it's not even sherry, it's wine. I don't know. But
I suppose it depends what your limit of fortification is before you say something's actually fortified. Like, I've drank 14% wine. It's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
There are, fortified wines that are less alcoholic than that, but
yeah. So I'm going to go with sultanas and oak on the nose. Would you like to add anything?
I can get like the honeycomb.
Honeycomb, yeah.
Smells like the inside of a crunchy.
Very good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
But yeah,
Sultanas, honeycomb, and oak on the nose. Right, I'm going for it.
Okay. On the palate, you should be getting sponge cake, peanut butter, grilled apricot, which is specific, and chocolate ice cream, with a finish that is lingering with a hint of toasted spices.
That's a lot more savoury than I expected.
Yeah. I was going to say, by the way, as well, like, I've had wines that are 14%, but I've also had beers that are over 14% because
Yeah, I've
I've
had
drank,
beers.
like, Tokyo Star used to be 12, and that was like a core thing for Brewdog, and then they went mental.
Yeah, it's like if you go for like an Imperial Stout or whatever, they're rarely below like 10, 11%.
Yeah, I mean, it does get you.
It does, yeah. Not many beers can handle it. I quite like an Imperial. Well, Imperial Stouts are either really, really nice or really, really crap, just because of the strength. Yeah, sponge cake as in plain sponge, fine. I could say that. I kind of think when they're saying
like a salted peanut butter, maybe.
Yeah, when you say like grilled apricot, I think the meaning like it's got that char, so there's like some sweetness, but it's like caramelized. Yeah.
Treacly. I would say more like a dark chocolate ice cream.
It is, yeah. It is those kind of like darker flavors, isn't it? Like dark flavors, dark chocolate, treacle. Maybe more like instead of treacle. Oh, what's the word?
Molasses.
Molasses, yeah.
I knew what you were getting at. It took me a minute myself.
Yeah.
My brain was trying to say Moscatel again, and I was like, that's definitely not the right one.
Pear.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate, molasses, and salted caramel. Heavy on the salt. It is more salty than sweet.
Yeah, I would agree.
When
I read this, I was expecting sort of cakey, like a dessert flavors, but it came out more.
It's got that softness to it, though.
Yeah.
It's not sharp or there's no kind of punch from the alcohol or any kind of burn or anything like. It's a warming finish, but it's not a burn. So I reckon that is I think that's a Fino cask.
And it's interesting because obviously it's a blend, but it's blended malt, so it's just going to be like there'll be no grain influence. It's just
but it's done in one sherry butt, isn't it? Finishing solution is sherry butt. So I think it's
not married. It's all blended and then finished.
Yeah, I think it's a Fino.
We could probably find out, to be honest, but
let's see if it says. And I'll just put long warming finish, by the way. So it's 48 by Heroes and Heretics.
Sorry, I got distracted there. My dog's just poked his head in the room to say hi. He's interested in what I'm doing. For some reason, he's decided he likes to sleep under the desk, and so he's like, "Why are you in my bed?"
You'd think the smell would put him off, like he'd be able to pick it up.
What of me?
Yeah. No, it just says spent 10 years in a sherry butt.
Very specific. Cheers, guys.
That's Master of Malt. To be fair, I don't know if they've got but they might not want to tell you.
Yeah, that's true because it's mystery blend, isn't it? So
yeah, they don't tell you what's in it. They just 880 bottles, 10-year-old, homage to the 80s. Yeah, they do say fluffy dice. Yeah, cask type, finished in a sherry butt. I'm going to tell you. I reckon if it's not like a Fino, it's a Moscatel.
Definitely like.
It's not an Oloroso.
Normally get
or a PX that no. Maybe this is where I need to specialise is just in sherry cask finishes, being able to pick out which ones are which. Seeing as when I've organised my whiskey cupboard, I've found out it's like a good 60% sherry cask finishes.
your sherry cask finish is whiskey covered with a shelf of other things.
Yeah, basically, and it's just like I haven't got a bottle of Glen Scotia going at the moment. I haven't got anything in those kind of ranges, and I really like those. There's got so much sherry cask whiskey that I need to finish before I get into it. Right, sorry. Did you want to give that one a score?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that actually. I mean, it was different.
Yes,
Which usually gets extra points for me. I would be willing to start at a 4 with that one.
I'll go 3.5. 4 and a 3.5. But I could certainly adjust that depending on later ones.
I may be aiming high because I'm excited to be drinking whiskey again.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's not been that long since we drank whiskey.
No, but on the podcast, it's been a
long
time.
Podcast, yeah. That was good. Good couple of whiskeys that we had.
I mean, we could probably chuck in a little mention
do a little bit about that, can't we?
Yeah. So, anyway.
Let's wait till we've had a couple more.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to introduce us to the next one? Because I certainly can't.
Let me just do how to pronounce.
Yeah, they haven't even given us the. Sometimes they give you the pronunciation guide on the card, but not this time.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I can't even find it.
I could probably take a guess, but it would be a bit of a guess.
It'd be like Jamrock or something like that, wouldn't it?
I think it was Stian Rock.
Stian
Oh, it
Rock,
might be Rook, like a U. That
so this is, for those of you who could probably guess, it's a McMirror.
Yeah.
We're trying not to butcher the name, but we are going to do it anyway. So it's a McMirror Stian Rock. There you go.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's how it's
but
pronounced.
There's umlauts on the A and the O.
Like
and there are far too many consonants in this word.
Yes. Sorry, McMirror. Sorry, our Swedish fans. So this says, a cunningly crafted combination. This is not fair, giving alliterations when we're drinking whiskey, by the way. Dram Team. Like, make the cards easier to read.
Yeah.
A cunningly crafted combination of casks fuels this limited release. From smoky spirit in fresh Oloroso casks to Swedish oak casks saturated with cloudberry wine. That sounds like something from like Skyrim or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking like Lord of the Rings, but yeah, definitely that fantasy kind of.
Yeah, might try some cloudberry wine.
Sounds like something the hobbits would drink.
Yeah. All that maturation magic conjures an end product that is complex yet gently sweet. A stunner. So on the nose, what?
I was just, you're about to read what I'm saying. Guess what?
What, smoke?
Yeah.
From a McMirror.
Yeah.
See, it ain't so. The nose says smoke, spiciness, and peat. I feel like you repeated yourself there with smoke and peat, whatever. With notes of juniper. I can smell it already. With notes of juniper, fruity, raisins, nuts, dried fruit, roasted bread tones, vanilla fudge, tobacco leaves, sandalwood, cedar, and ginger. And about I think basically every smell, every human.
I would probably. I get that someone's obviously a professional here, but I would probably condense that down to smoke, spiciness, dried fruit.
I'm trying to get through the smoke. I really struggle with this kind of.
And woods.
This is kind of a medicinal peaty smoke. There's a bit of woodiness, but it's quite a sweet smoke, isn't it?
Yeah, it smells like. What's this wood that you put? What, hickory?
Yeah,
hickory smoke.
Hickory. Yeah, I'll go with that. Because that's quite a sweet smelling smoke. Yeah.
Yeah, it smells like barbecue smoke. Is what I'm trying to get at.
That's what you put in it, like hickory.
Yeah.
Pellets or whatever.
And I think.
Good for axe handles as well, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And presumably other tools, not just axes, but.
I assume that means it's a relatively. It's like a
springy but strong.
But yeah.
You don't want it to be stiff because you just break your arms. Right, sorry. So hickory smoke on the nose. Anything else you'd like to add? I'm trying to get anything else. I'm trying to get like these nuts.
There's
and
something
raisins.
sweet underneath that I'm trying to.
Maybe ginger.
Just sort of smelling booze now because I've burnt my nose at 2 seconds.
Maybe ginger. It's got that kind of like mild spiciness, like on a Josh scale of spice. It's like a 2. Yeah.
I could go for dried fruit.
Hickory smoke, dried fruit, and ginger on the nose.
Yeah.
How about that?
So Yeah, so my issue with this description of the nose is, you're right. Smoking peat generally, I mean, I suppose smoke is an element of peat, but smoking peat, redundant. Spiciness and ginger, redundant. Sandalwood, cedar, just say woody.
Yeah, and then
Fruity,
tobacco
raisins,
leaves.
nuts, dried fruit. Just say
Well,
dried
tobacco
fruit
leaves,
nuts.
nuts, and roasted bread tones are basically
Yeah,
that kind of smell. And yeah,
yeah,
fruity raisins, dried fruit. Well, raisins are dried fruit.
yeah.
Right.
But
We're not
I'm
being
not
too
criticizing. I'm
no,
just
we're not
saying.
criticizing.
Yeah, if we were 5 in at this point instead of 2 in, that would have become a problem.
Did you get my joke there?
Yeah, I did.
Very good. Right, okay, you can dive in. I'll tell you what you should be tasting. Smoky, fruity, and spicy with peat and juniper notes, together with minerals, herbs from vanilla fudge. Since when does vanilla fudge have herbs in it? Raisins, orange peel, dark chocolate, and dried fruit. So it should be kind of like a bittery, dark, smoky,
Well, that is.
earthy kind of flavors.
That's very
Sorry, and the
interesting.
finish should be clear smoke in symbiosis with exotic dried fruits. So I'm going to have a taste.
That's different. It's smoky, but not in the way you would expect.
That is different. Like the smoke comes second, and that's really weird.
Yeah. I'm
Like
really
not until you
wondering.
swallow it.
Yeah, I'm wondering what juniper is, what it tastes like, because I don't really know. I suppose it's
Juniper's like gin.
berries, isn't it? But
Yeah, juniper berries are used to make gin and vodka.
yeah, it does have a like a chalkiness to it, which is what I would guess is the minerals. And with herbs from vanilla fudge, I assume would be vanilla pods.
That's a weird way of saying it. Is it vanilla a herb? I hope vanilla's a
Those
herb.
cardamom pods, maybe you would put in a vanilla fudge. Maybe a cinnamon stick, but
Yeah, maybe, but I feel like you just say sin. Anyway, yes, I like the chalkiness comment. That's like the mouthfeel of it is quite dry, almost like cloying, dry, but not
like
in a bad way.
Like a paste more than a liquid.
Yeah,
kind
chalky mouthfeel.
Sort of like if you've ever had a bath ale.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, or like hard water.
Yeah, because the water there is so hard that the ales they make, they are literally chalky. Like I love them, but after like 2 or 3, you're like, I actually need a drink now rather than like sand.
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's a lot better than the nose would lead you to believe. There's definitely dried fruit to begin. Like strong dried fruit.
So it is like mixed fruit and nuts, kind of. Like when you get like a Christmas, it's like Christmas finger food, and it's like raisins with red monkey nuts, and
so
maybe there's a hazelnut if you're lucky, and
just one. Chalky mouthfeel, mixed dried fruit and nuts to begin. Then smoke develops.
But smoke's quite a clean smoke.
Yeah, I like that.
It's smoky, but it's
not cloying.
No, it's like there's like a light note in here somewhere that's cut in the smoke, so that the smoke's only really in like the peripherals of the mouth. Whereas down the middle, there's a sweet lightness.
Yeah. Smoke stays at the edge.
I mean, if we were being all floral like that time we decided to start that way and then got too drunk to keep it up, we'd be saying like, the smoke on the edge is like a charred letter.
We kept it up. It was the last one.
Charred last letter from the love letter from Sweden and all this stuff, I remember. So we did.
This one says the last one we did was my apartment smells of rich mahogany and has many leather-bound books.
Yeah, I remember.
And then one of them is you're Rocky, but instead of beating a side of beef, it's ham, and Drago is smoking a cigar next to you. Standing next to a bonfire, you're enjoying a toffee apple, and then your house burns down. Shrug emoji. So, yeah, our attempts at being fancy were not
Basically,
the best.
just describing memes.
Yeah, one of them we said you enjoy a nice cinnamon swirl. And I just want to say I had a couple of cinnamon swirls recently. Apparently, like Morrison's do like the best donuts of all the supermarkets.
They use ice and sugar rather than granulated sugar.
So I went round and I was like, I'm gonna get me a donut. But I don't want like one that's got like chocolate on it or jam in it or anything like that. I just want a ring donut.
Yeah.
Right?
But their ring donuts are powder coated with ice and sugar rather than granulated sugar.
So I couldn't get any because they didn't have any. So they must have sold out. But
they did sell it very quickly.
Yeah, they did have 2 cinnamon swirls, and I was like, I haven't had a cinnamon swirl in ages. Because I got into an argument with someone over cinnamon swirls because I didn't like cinnamon. And I went to order something that I'd been getting at the cafe every morning, and thinking it was a Danish. And I was like, yeah, I'll have a Danish, please. And he went to get the Danish. I was like, no. That one, that's not a Danish, it's a cinnamon swirl. It's like, no, it's not, because I don't like cinnamon. They're like, we sell these every day. It's a cinnamon swirl. And I was like, maybe I do like cinnamon.
Yeah, because the Danish is like a cinnamon swirl without the cinnamon.
Yeah, it's like raisins and stuff in it.
Yeah, and it's like iced over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a cinnamon swirl is usually glazed.
Oh, they're so good. It's like that centre bit of a cinnamon swirl.
Yeah. But the bit that's just all cinnamon.
Yeah, you just got to take your time, nibble around to it though.
Yeah, I like to peel the cinnamon swirl and eat it as bits.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'd nibble around the edge like a beaver.
Yeah.
Right, did you want to give this one a score? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this might be controversial, but I'm sticking at 4 on that.
Sticking at 4.
I enjoyed that. Yeah.
I'm going to stick at 3.5.
And no shade on McMira, but usually their palate is definitely very Swedish, very like,
smoky.
Smoky and geared towards people who like their meat gamey, and
Yeah, if you don't eat like smoked kippers 7 times a day, you probably won't like it.
Not really my palate, and I say that having visited Sweden and Norway and Finland, and I've eaten in all those countries. And
I didn't know you visited all those countries.
Yeah, but my brothers used to do field archery, which is quite big in Scandinavian and like Estonia and stuff like that. But it's not really big anywhere else. So field archery is like in the woods, so you're not just shooting along a flat. You have to take into account wind and elevation.
Oh wow, okay.
But yeah, they were into it when they were young, but then they became teenagers and life got in the way.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So don't attack them if you're like a French knight.
Yeah.
Oh.
They'll be able to guess. They'll be able to judge it for up and down hills.
Well, French knights don't like archery.
They also have like a discipline in field archery where you don't have any of the modern accoutrement. You just have a bow. You're allowed to mark. You're allowed to mark your can't remember what they call it, but the thing that you put in your fingers, and that's the only thing you can use for aiming.
Right.
So you have to get your fingers right on your bow So if you notch your arrow wrong, then your fingers will be wrong, and then your aim will be off. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, there you go. We all learned something new today. It was a David's journey.
Yeah, that was just a wee Sweden thing for you. Also, on the radio over there, they just randomly play like black metal and death metal during the day on the radio.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially Finland.
Yeah.
Big on it, aren't they?
Well, I mean, you'd say that, but Sweden's like big on death metal and Norway's big on black metal.
True. But I think
Finland's just big on everything like that.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of David's journeys, do you want to take us on another one?
Are we going away to Tel Aviv?
Somewhere around there. I don't know if it is there.
I believe it is Tel Aviv, yes. Which is an interesting one. Don't think we've ever had one of these.
No.
But this is a whiskey from, I think it's Milk and Honey from the Elements series. And it's a sherry cask. And it's really whiskey, ? A festive first for us. Milk and Honey's Tel Aviv distillery, there you go, combines traditional distillation methods with rapid but graceful hot climate maturation. The special element series uses meticulously selected casks here, 40% Oloroso and PX, to compose impressive flavors over the classic single malt base. So they basically finished in, I'm guessing, a selection of Oloroso and a selection of PX sherry casks.
Yeah.
And then married everything up at the end.
Yeah. This smells lovely. I like this one.
That's good. I'm looking forward to it. So I was right. I think I might have read up or not read about like seen that and been like, where's that from? Because it doesn't. And yeah, I thought it was Tel Aviv.
So it's the most airstrike proof distillery.
Yeah. I mean, we might test that soon, but we'll see.
Gets tested quite a lot, doesn't it?
I mean, tested with real
strikes. Yeah. Just laying down threats. Anyway, what should I be smelling?
On the nose, there's dominant, rich red fruit notes.
What would you say a red fruit is?
Like berries and that tomatoes technically.
Yeah,
I meant strawberries, but my brain said tomatoes.
Would you say strawberry was a red fruit?
It's a red berry, really, isn't it? But other than that, like you get red apples, but they're just over.
No, but I think an apple is a green fruit.
Mostly, yeah. Because the flesh is white.
Cherries.
And then cherry. That's a berry.
Pomegranate.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, pomegranate, pink grapefruit.
Red pears.
Yeah, but I do, yeah. You do get some apples that are red on the inside as well, I think.
Plums?
I can't remember what they're called, though. Maybe.
Anyway, sorry. You were saying?
Yeah. Dominant, rich red fruit notes covered by gentle oak, caramel scent, and lemon freshness.
There is carameliness to this.
If we're getting a lemon freshness, then the red fruit probably isn't pink grapefruit because they would be virtually indistinguishable.
There is kind of like a freshness to it, almost like a sanitizer wipe or whatever, like you used to get from KFC for your hands.
Yeah, they had like that citric blast kind of vibe. Not, I get what you mean.
It's like very clean in the nose.
Or like summer fresh bleach or something like that.
It's very clean in the nose, like it's like a It's not overpowering, but it's like a direct delivery.
I think your sanitizer wipe comment is probably better than the bleach comment because sanitizer wipes have got alcohol in them and bleach you probably shouldn't drink.
Smells like bleach. So caramel and sanitizer wipes on the nose. Yeah. We know what it means. We don't.
Yes, it's. You want to put lemon sanitizer wipes just so that when we come back to it, we don't go, oh, how have we given this a good score? It smells like sanitary wipes.
Yeah. Okay. Lemon.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I'm going in.
So the palate is medium-bodied, light fruity sherry sweetness, rich fruits, and dark chocolate, followed by gentle oaky notes, with a finish that is long, with the dark chocolate notes lingering in the palate for a while, followed by tobacco and oak notes.
That's really nice.
Yeah. So basically, the finish is just a flavour, but longer.
I think the finish has got some vanilla to it.
That's how I go.
It's it's like a classic sherry whiskey, but turned down to like a 7. It's got that kind of Christmas cakey flavours, but it's not like strong or dark. It has
a chocolatey, velvety chocolate feel to it, though.
Yeah, it's very soft, velvety. I guess that's what they mean by medium-bodied. There's a little bit of woodiness to it. I would say rather than dark chocolate, that's closer to a milk chocolate.
Mm-hmm. There's also there's another sweetness in it. I think it's sort of banana-y, maybe?
Mm.
Or like banana custard.
Vanilla-y.
Yeah, but like not quite vanilla and not quite banana, somewhere in the middle. If you know what I mean.
Maybe like a butterscotch Angel Delight.
Yeah, in that kind of that ballpark of it's a sweet, creamy flavour is what I'm getting at here, I think.
That's why I quite like these softer flavoured whiskies, because they remind me of butterscotch Angel Delight, and that was the best Angel Delight.
It's almost got like a peach sweet flavour to it.
I could see peaches. Yeah, I could go peaches.
Like a peach Melba kind of job.
Yeah, especially on the finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll say chocolate and sherry and muted sherry flavors. Butterscotch / vanilla and peach Melba on the end. That's really nice.
I'm very impressed with this.
Getting a lot of peach Melba now that I'm like getting the aftertastes. Yeah.
For a whiskey that's aged in the Mediterranean, we'll go for.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, it's very nice. That is a very nice one. Very nice indeed. I was going to clear my palate and then we can discuss scars if you like.
I'm just finishing up.
I went straight through that one, I must admit. That was too good to resist.
I was savouring the palate because it was the finish. It was very.
It is a very good finish on that one. Did you want to give it a scar?
Now I feel like I have to escalate.
Well, I'm going to escalate to a 4.
Yeah, which makes me. I feel like I might have started too high on my 4s, but I'm going to go 4.5, and then I might at the end reevaluate everything and drop it by 0.5, just so you know. Because I'm thinking that I might have to escalate again.
There's a couple here. Yeah. There's 2 here that I'm
very interested in all the remaining ones, to be fair, because the colour of the one that I think you're probably not that interested in is dark.
It does intrigue me. Yeah, I'm not giving up on it just yet.
Yeah.
Seeing as we're halfway through, did you want to talk about our little jaunt at this point? Maybe.
Yeah, we might as well have a wee go on that. I mean, it was fairly recently. I mean, I had a very eventful February where I had COVID, which was fun. Yeah. Luckily, I was triple jagged. You know, if you're one of those who's like, "Oh, I can't believe you got the vaccine," you can probably leave the podcast because your anti-science mindset does not fit with our beliefs. But and I think that having that and having, I mean, I don't know exactly that. I don't know for 100% that I got Omicron variant, but I mean, it's the dominant one.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get much of a way of symptoms, so I imagine that's what I got. I feel quite lucky, but it did take me 10 days. Took me out of, couldn't train 10 days for 2 weeks actually, because it was 4 days I was in isolation because my girlfriend had it before me. So it was annoying, but February, that was also part of the reason why we're even further behind, I think, because for 2 weeks.
Okay, we've got an excuse now. Quick, milk it.
Well, but we were behind, and then my February got messed. But before that, we probably didn't do it because we had a trip where you came up. We were supposed to go to Whiskey Festival in Glasgow, but because it was due the day before or 2 days before, the rules on indoor events were to be lifted, which were increased over the winter period in Scotland. Yeah, so they couldn't host it basically. So they had to push it back.
We made the best.
Luckily, they pushed it back to a time when I can't go, so that was excellent of them. Thank you. But they couldn't. It's not their fault.
No.
But we made the best of a. I mean, Josh, you'd already paid for your flights, so
it
was kind of might as well make the most of it. So you still came, visited, and we took the day that we should have been going to the festival. We went to Clydeside, got a whiskey glazed donut, and a flight.
Revisited Clydeside and made sure as soon as we got there, do you still have the whiskey donuts tonight? Yes, we do. I was like, thank God, that is the reason.
And then they were like, actually, we've changed the recipe to peated whiskey for the glaze, and you're like, oh, but it was still fine. Turns out when you put much sugar into a peated whiskey, you don't really taste the peat anymore.
You just get a vague whiskey sense from those donuts.
Yeah.
But more importantly, when we last visited Clydeside, it was within its first year of opening, so they only had other people's whiskey.
Yeah.
And it was a
This
great
time
tar.
around.
Absolutely would recommend the Clydeside tar and the chocolate and whiskey
A
tasting
bit
tar.
of like Glasgow history in there as well.
Yeah, fantastic tar, really good tasting. But this time, they have their own whiskey.
Yeah.
And as we have found with most distilleries, if you express an interest and you're polite and you're friendly,
You get a free whiskey.
you might get a free whiskey. And that's what happened this time, isn't it? We got there and said, "Oh, we've been here before for a tar, and we've come back because you've released your own whiskey now. Do you sell it?" And they're like, "We can get you one that we give people at the end of the tars if you like."
Yeah.
I mean, we had a flight.
We didn't exactly they definitely didn't, milk it, go and just get that and then leave.
No. Yeah.
We also got, I think, the last 2 whiskey glazed donuts because a table of 5 people came in to try the whiskey glazed tantrum donut with a coffee, and then we're swiftly told, actually, no, we've just sold the last one.
And the guy accidentally poured us a double on 2 of the whiskies.
Yeah. So on our flight, we actually got 6 measures instead of 4, which is always nice.
Absolutely recommend the Clydeside.
Yeah.
And then we went from there.
Instead of pouring it out and re-pouring it, he was just like, "Oh, I've gave you it now."
Yeah, I've given you a double. Sorry about that, guys. It's like, you don't have to apologise for that, mate. So
hope you weren't planning on driving in exactly 4 hours, and you can wait for 6
at that
if
point,
you need to.
Bearing in mind, we've been doing these, but we haven't really drunk that much. So at that point, it's what, lunchtime?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, some late lunch. We've not had any lunch. You get a little bit of food with the.
Yeah, we got cheese. We had with the whiskey you get at Clydeside, they give you essentially 3 crackers, 3 bits of cheese, and some like chutney.
Yeah, and we had the donut, and then we went to Ben Nevis. Yeah,
the Ben Nevis I think it's on Argyle Street in Glasgow.
Which is
might be wrong actually with that. It's in Partick. It's a whiskey bar.
Very good whiskey bar. They definitely saw us coming because when we were like, "Oh, we like this," they're like, "Here's the most expensive one. You should try this." And we were like, Can we split it between 2 glasses? And like, yeah. It's like, all right. Then.
Yeah.
So we had that, and then they've got a lot of whiskies behind the bar, aren't they? A lot.
Yeah. Surprisingly, we drank quite a few of them previously.
So. Yeah, that was a problem. But I mean, I think I had a Glenskosh that I've not had before.
I don't think it was so much a problem. They had enough that we did, but for us we were trying to make the most of a bad day, so we were trying to have whiskies that would fall into our preferred palates, let's say. And I think that the problem with that was that we've tried a lot of those.
Yeah. But we had 4 maybe there.
Yes, I think.
And a pint.
And a pint, yeah.
And a pint, and then we went and got 2 old fashions each.
Yeah, the I can't remember what it's called, but it's the
Hilton.
bar in the Hilton in Glasgow.
I checked how much they cost afterwards, by the way.
Yeah, how much were they?
Well, it turns out I bought all 4.
Oh well.
But
thanks.
I mean, you put me up, so I owed you. They were $10 each.
Oof.
Yeah, I looked at my bank like the next day. I was like, "What's that 40 quid gone out for?" And it's like Hilton. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." A hotel bar, innit?
Yeah. And then we went for dinner,
not too expensive for
a whiskey cocktail. It's also like it might be an old fashioned, but it wasn't with like Jim Beam. It was a fancy.
It is one of the more expensive cocktails generally. So yeah. And then we went for dinner. And it caught up with me.
Yeah, at that point you were a bit worse aware. We went to a place called Dockyard Social, but I think by that point you were
I was
well
checked
over
out.
The idea of doing anything.
I think the problem was the Dockyard Social looked great, but it's very busy and very loud.
Yeah.
And that combined with me being very drunk.
Yeah.
My brain was just like, don't like this.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. And then got back and I was like, I'm going to bed, and you're like, it's only 9:30 or whatever. I was like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Also, the fact that the churros stall in Dockyard Social was shut didn't help. I think if you'd had the option of churros, you might have been more willing to stay.
I'd have rallied for the sake of churros.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's Glasgow. It's a great place to go if you want to drink some whiskey.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I would say if you're going to Glasgow to drink whiskey, Clydeside is a must.
Yeah. I mean, it's the distillery.
Yeah, it's a lovely place.
I believe there's actually a couple more now, but
there is a couple, yeah. But I mean, it's a lovely place. It's a lovely building. They do good whiskies. They've got a good selection of whiskies. They've got their own whiskey now. The donuts are fantastic, and they're not that far from places like the Ben Nevis, like the Hilton. There's a couple of others, isn't there?
Yeah. There's a Pot Still, which is more in town. But if you're doing if you want to do sort of like a quite extended length of time between bars, pub crawl, it's probably about an hour's total walk from the Clydeside to the Pot Still via the Ben Nevis, the Hilton, and then to the Pot Still. There's also a couple others. I think the Bon Accord.
Yeah, the Bon Accord, yeah.
But yeah, obviously we were.
It's strange,
more than
isn't it?
3 sheets to the wind. Probably.
It's strange though,
6 or 7.
I don't think we had more on that day than we've had like when we were in Elgin.
No.
But I think
we were
under. We made the same mistake we always make. We were underfed.
Yeah, and I think we also sat in the pub for quite a period, and I always feel like if you sit down and drink for a while without moving, it gets to you.
Yeah, that's a good thing about when we've been like the Elgin one or whatever. We did 3, got up, left, next place,
went away someone else. Yeah,
and ate quite a lot and heavy stuff. So like big breakfast, big lunch.
Yeah.
Big tea.
We really should have
had a lunch.
Gotten a lunch after the Clydeside, but
Yeah. But we wanted to drink.
Yeah, we were like,
and I'm glad
there's only limited time.
I'm glad we did. It was a very nice visit, and I like Glasgow.
Yeah.
So,
on to the next.
And I'm glad to be introducing this one because if anyone who knows me, I'm a fan of Glen Scotia, and that's where we're going now. So this is
not too far from Glasgow, but as the crow flies.
As the crow flies, yeah.
About 3 hours if you want to drive.
Is there a ferry?
There is, but it's from air, so it takes about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, fair. So this is the Glen Scotia seasonal release 2021, aged 12 years. And the card says, this special festive limited edition has its first maturation of 11 years in a mix of first fill bourbon casks and American oak hogsheads. I know it didn't say casks there, but I added that. Then spends its 12th year in first fill Oloroso hogsheads and heavily charred American oak barrels. All that adds up to a warming, spicy character which goes wonderfully with the Campbelltown style we know and love. It's a shame I still don't work on mine hunters. I could get one of them to pick us up and give us a lift over.
Just give us a lift over, yeah.
Yeah, you're not busy.
Especially not now.
No, definitely not now. No. Not like they're one of the busiest ships in the fleet at all. So on the nose, you should be getting toffee, apple, not toffee apple, toffee, apple, sea spray, soft vanilla, and salted caramel.
You definitely get an orchard fruit smell for that.
There's a lot of salted caramel there as well. I would actually say that's toffee apples.
Probably, yeah. There's
that.
There's that tart
caramelized sugar, but there's that tartness there as well.
Yeah.
Definitely toffee apples on the nose. Like, I'm not putting a comma in. That's just toffee apples.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm happy with that.
So if you dive in, you should get creamy vanilla and brown sugar, balanced by warm, spicy notes of cinnamon and nutmeg. And the finish is a long, nutty finish with dried orange peel and gentle, warming spice.
Does have that spiciness right through it.
Well, that's lovely. It's got like that kind of deep, like caramelized, sugary notes, but there is kind of a cloviness to it, maybe.
Mm-hmm. That'll be like your warming spice kind of vibe.
Yeah, but like a flavor as well, not just a spice. Yeah. I don't know,
I do get some kind, maybe not like a caramelized fruit more than a. It might be. I suppose that's what dried orange peel would. I'm
trying to think of what that last flavor you get is. Like it's right at the top of my mouth, like right in the back at the top, right in the
It's
palate.
quite sweet.
Yeah, like it's trying to burrow its way into my skull. There's plenty of space for it. Yeah, I mean it's lovely, but I'm trying to.
It definitely blooms into the nose,
It does.
and
Yeah. Okay. So caramelized
it does.
sugar.
It has the sort of all the things that you would put in a wine to make it mulled.
Yeah,
If that
like
makes sense.
cloves,
Yeah.
cinnamon,
Orange peels and all
Orange
the stuff
peel.
they've described is there.
Yeah. And nutmeg. Yep. Long, satisfying.
That's catch strap. I was going to say.
Yeah, that's a 55%. And that's actually a bit surprising. I didn't think it was quite that strong.
I thought it was stronger than a 40 or a 45, but
Yeah.
I didn't think 50. I was like, is that like a
50.
strong? I was thinking like 47, 48. You know, like
Yeah. I get it
coming
now.
early and they haven't done the chill filter.
Yeah, I get it now.
But,
like after I've swallowed it and it's been a couple of minutes, the alcohol is catching up with me now.
well, that was sort of what was happening to me. I was like, my mouth's still very dry from that, which implies that there was more alcohol and less water in it, and it is literally more alcohol than liquid than like.
Not. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, that's a fair way of looking at it. Actually, 55% alcohol, 45% everything else. All right. Would you like to score that one?
I think that's a 4.
I've gone 4 for that. I think it's same as the milk and honey, and Glen Scotia
for me
still peaks with their double cask.
Yeah, for
their
me,
Nature Range one is still their best.
For me, it was about the same. I would still say the milk and honey was better because it was different.
I think this was really nice, and then the finish let it down a little bit. It couldn't maintain what it delivered at the beginning.
I actually wish I'd put a bit of water in to see what happened, but I've finished it, so that's not happening.
You have to buy a bottle.
Yeah.
No, in Glen Scotia, it's not that expensive.
But also knowing that it's a seasonal release, it's probably sold out.
No, but it's more expensive than I expected.
Probably because it's limited.
Yeah, limited edition, £75. Not bad for a normal one.
Yeah.
Cheers, Dram Team. Yeah, they did their own
also
festival, didn't they?
Who? Campbelltown, yeah.
Well, Glen Scotia, but
yeah, they do feature the other one. What's it? Longmorn.
Well, Springbank, Glen Scotia, and Longmorn. But there's another one opening up there, I think, as well.
Good.
Yeah, it's slowly. Well, there's one's opening everywhere. It takes place in May each year. Oh, that's annoying. Because that's when the Glasgow one's been knocked back to.
Yeah, and I'm busy then.
Well, I'm not going from one to 1 month to the other. I'm already doing one in April for Bristol and then one in May for Glasgow. I'm not doing two in.
Actually, the wedding I'm at, instead of being able to go to the redone Glasgow one, is a way up round there. I think me and my girlfriend are going down towards. We're going to come back instead of coming back the roadway. We're going to go the ferryway.
Don't do this to me.
What? Convince you to get a ferry.
I don't
know what time it would be. Yeah.
You've seen how bad I get. Right, I'm going to sign up for news for the festival, and hopefully it's been postponed or something.
Yeah.
I really.
Also, it seems weird that somewhere like that wouldn't want to do it in like.
You think
July
like
or
June,
August
July, yeah. Like May, sure, is still a bit blustery and a bit.
Especially out there, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope I can get to that because we've got catching up to do, haven't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I'm doing April,
we can go another year.
April Whiskey Festival down here, beginning of April, to be fair, and I've got a month to recover coming up to Glasgow. Probably going on my own. but whatever. Book a hotel and just like ruin the room. I mean, it's the one in Glasgow is pretty central, isn't it? Should be a bunch of hotels.
Yeah,
around
yeah. Well, it's basically right next to where we were.
Yeah.
It's like the Dockyard Social and it are right next to each other. SWG.
All right, okay. So yeah, I'll just be able to stagger back from there to the hotel.
Yeah.
Did you want to introduce us to his next one from your favourite whiskey country? As you've said many times.
I see how they've now just stopped bothering with WhiskAYE. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
English.
I guess it's because they were the first one to like, you know what, screw everybody else.
Yeah, this is the gently smoked sherry cask 2021. It does say in the blurb the English WhiskAYE themselves say it's been a long time since they released a whiskey this heavily sherried.
Yeah, I think English WhiskAYE is like the company, and then the English is like their whiskey brand, isn't it?
Yeah, making this a dram with a colour, aroma, and taste far removed from their house style, because they are quite like, and they're quite a.
The same as all English whiskey, isn't it? It's not particularly heavy. It generally is
bourbon casky.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's Canadian in style because it's not. It's not really like because a Canadian is Irish in style and Irish is triple distilled. American, I would say it's more American in style. It tends to be a bit, even though it uses malt rather than corn, but it tends to be a bit softer. Scotch is like, I think Scotch is one of the harder ones to get into because it's generally quite heavy and not rough, but just robust.
Yeah.
Whereas English whiskey, English whiskey is young, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. But I know you can't really put.
English Whiskey Co can release
quite young.
Yeah, they can release like 12-year-olds. I think might be 12, 13 years old now. So they're getting into decent. But when you think about it,
so they're getting towards like the entry level.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a Scotch distillery releases a 10, 12-year-old as their basic. Yeah. Basic entry level whiskey. It's not until you're talking like 18, 21, 25 that you're getting up to premium ranges.
Yeah. So anyway, they say that
yes, sorry.
far removed from their house style, abounds with rich creaminess, complemented by soft peat smoke, a cracking winter warmer.
See, every time you say like soft, I can smell it already. Every time you say like soft peat smoke, it's just peat.
This one's way worse than I smelled it just then, and it's way worse than the.
That's very medicinal.
Yeah. Where are they getting peat from in England?
It should be banned. It's bad for the environment.
Do they have peat bogs in the lakes?
No, I don't think so.
They have peat bogs in Plymouth?
They probably they might have in like Yorkshire moorland, maybe. 60% of the UK's peatland is in Scotland, so
yeah, I mean, I would have pegged.
Peak District has got some.
That's fair. I would have pegged a decent percentage.
But the Peak District in South Pennines is high in heavy metals because they're smoke from factories. Whereas you're obviously Scotland. If you go out to where the peat wasn't industrialised out there.
Still not industrialised.
Levels of zinc and copper in waterways coming off the moors are beyond EU thresholds.
Right.
See, this is the problem with Yorkshire.
Now, right?
Yeah, true. This is the problem with Yorkshire is it's got some of the best like if you have to like moorland or I mean Yorkshire's got the biggest national parks or whatever whatever you want to call them over here.
Well, Scotland it is a national beauty. I think it's still a national park in England, isn't it?
I think that's the American version.
Area of outstanding natural beauty.
Whatever you want to call it, parkland. Yorkshire's got the biggest ones because I think the Yorkshire Dales might be the biggest. But also Yorkshire was heavily industrialised.
Yeah.
So less so in North Yorkshire, but South Yorkshire was hugely industrialised. That's what. The largest area of natural beauty is the Cotswolds, apparently, but screw them. It's something like the Yorkshire Moors or the Dales or the blooming Pennine, Peak District or one of those. Anyway. Yeah, so South Yorkshire was all steel and coal. West Yorkshire was lots of mills. Leeds was a big mill place. And then East, that went off to be Humberside and then realised that no one wants to be associated with Hull, so they tried to come back as Yorkshire. Was a lot of dockyards and things like that. Mm-hmm. So North Yorkshire got away with it a little bit, but they still had quite a lot of industry. So
whereas in Scotland, we have industry in Aberdeen, industry in Glasgow.
Well, you have kind of like pockets of industry, don't you?
That's what I mean. That's it, basically.
Whereas Yorkshire was like, that was the pocket. It was Yorkshire.
Mm-hmm. And our industry in Aberdeen is actually, here's where you go to get a helicopter.
Yeah, it's offshore, yeah. Yeah, whereas Yorkshire is just like, it's under the ground. Best dig it all up. Still the best place on earth.
Whilst you're at it.
Yeah. Still the best place on earth, obviously, but...
So,
anyway, sorry. Yes.
Back to
what we're meant to be doing.
Yes. Gentle smoked sherry cask. There are no actual. There's not a nose.
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
But yeah, on the nose, medicinal peat.
Maybe a bit of woody peat.
I'm gonna say maybe smoked bacon.
I could go with cured meats. Yeah. Yeah.
Or like a jerky, maybe. Something like that.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, medicinal peat and jerky. Just because I like jerky, so maybe it'll.
It's like more like a jerky biltong, that kind of.
Yeah. All right.
And then tasting notes.
Here we go.
Creamy, rich, and oily palate with a soft, spicy, smoky sweetness. Dry with oaky wood overtones. The fruits come across with cherries dominating, aniseed and licorice.
Oh, that gets
Coffee
worse.
and honey on the finish. Fantastic, long and dry.
It was like, that might be a 32.5 one. Whoa, man.
That does just finish with peat.
That's just peat, and then more peat, and then more, and it just builds.
It tastes like a lip match.
Having that tastes like a lip match. That is, that is hard. That is hard work, that one, isn't it?
I was swilling this round whilst we were yammering, and it's a very light spirit to be this peated, is what I would say. Like, if you've got a heavier spirit, it'll carry the peat in, there's more weight to it.
There is like a sweety caramelliness right at the start, but then the peat.
Yeah, there's flavours before. If you whilst it's in your mouth, you can kind of keep the peat away. As soon as you swallow, it's just peat.
And peat lingers. That's the annoying thing. Well, everything about peat is annoying. Caramel to begin, but obliterated by peat as soon as you swallow, all through the finish. I don't care. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's not getting cherry. Cherry's a very, very specific flavour. Cherry tastes like cherry, almonds, and amaretto. That's the three things that taste like cherry.
Almonds taste like cherry?
Yeah, they're the same. Like, it's the same chemical compound that makes both flavours. So usually things that are cherry flavoured are actually almond flavoured.
Huh.
Because it's easier to extract from the almonds.
Oh.
And if you get there's a cocktail which is a boozy cherry coke, and it's just amaretto and coke. Tastes like cherry cola.
I'm trying to uncrease my face.
It's quite drying as well, this one.
It's just not very pleasant at all. That.
Yeah. The dog's come back through to this expresses disdain at the fact that he thinks I'm burning the house down.
He can probably smell it. He probably smelled it when it arrived in the house. Mum's was going to be like, yes, you're getting rid of it. Oh, right, okay. Do you want to give that one a score?
Before I swallowed it,
Yeah.
it was like a 3.
Right.
But after I swallowed it, it's probably a 2.
Pre-swallow. See, I'll give you that. I'll say you've got pre-swallow is a 3, and then it's a 2. I'll go pre-swallow 2.5, and it ends as a 1.5. It's just too much for me.
Yeah.
And again,
I'm going to have to clear my glass quite a lot.
Yeah, and again, I want to emphasize the fact that I'm not a objective whiskey drinker machine AI guy.
Yeah, no.
I have my
Who is?
I have my foibles and my favorites, and Pete is just it is growing on me. And if it's similar to how beer was, where I've gone from hating English beer to really liking a bitter and a stout over 10 years, maybe in 10 years' time I'll be like, peated whiskey is the best. But at the moment,
As your taste buds die, and it's the only thing that actually triggers joy.
As it's the only thing you can scavenge from the nuclear plague-ridden wastelands. It's just I don't care. It softens the blow for a little bit. We just need a meteor heading to Earth, and we can complete the set, can't we?
Yeah.
Plague, global warming, so plague, natural disaster, and nuclear war. Just need an alien threat now.
I've drank about a quarter of a pint of water, so that's about as well as I'm gonna clear my palate.
And stand in the shower for a little bit. Right.
I've got an interesting comment to make before we move on to this next one.
Well, you've set the bar very high now, so it better be interesting.
Well, have you noticed that it would appear that Chris has solved his bottling problem?
How so?
Well, if you compare this to our previous 6 drams, this is 12.5 mils. Previously 10 mils.
Oh.
And the bottle is shorter and stouter.
Oh, yeah. So we're getting 12.5 mils rather than 10 mils now.
I noticed this when I was trying to change my address for the 5th time.
Is that the same for all the subsequent boxes? Do you have them to hand?
It says on the website, now you get 5 15 mils, 25 mils, and 1 12.5.
Hey, fair play.
So thank you to whoever used to make the bottles. For no longer making the 10 ml bottle, and whoever has a 12.5 ml bottle is like, sorry mate, can't do a 10 ml. Those are the people.
You go to a 15, Yeah. Oh, I mean that's 25% increase. I'll take that.
Yeah, on a very with no price increase. Just
that's the thing. Yeah, Chris is a sound bloke, isn't he? So
yeah.
Let's go, Berry Bros and sorry, I'll look it up before I won't speak it as I look it up.
Obviously, the problem is Berry Bros and Rod.
We don't have the best history with them.
Not on 6 drams, we don't. They've had some good ones, but never in this slot.
You never know. Yeah, it's about £100 bottle of whiskey. Is it my turn? It is, isn't it? Because you introduced your favourite English type of whiskey. I made that joke already.
Apparently, my favourite's now Israeli, so.
Yeah, goddamn. No,
that doesn't suit my
we are pro
politics.
don't.
I'm kidding.
We are neither pro nor anti. We have
that,
no
by
politics.
the way, is not because of the religion of the Israeli
we
people.
have no politics. We just
like
drink
to
whiskey.
point out.
I will drink whiskey from any country on earth.
And that's not the politics I was talking about, is what I'm saying.
Yes, and that
I realised that there is a type of politics which dislikes Israel.
If there is
which is not the type of politics which I would associate with.
If there is a whiskey coming out from sanctioned Russia, and this will date this podcast, to within probably a 10-year span, I would drink it. I am an equal opportunities whiskey drinker.
Drink it if someone else bought it.
It depends who made it. If it was made by the state, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Russia, isn't everything made by the state?
Yeah, true.
Tetris was made by the state in the USSR.
Anyway,
Most successful, highly sold game of all time until Wii Sports or something like that. And
for Minecraft.
guys, so got on there, but yeah, I think it was overtaken by Wii Sports because Wii Sports shipped with the Wii.
Yeah, fine. But like 5 people bought it. Anyway, whiskey. We've got to focus. Berry Bros and Rudd Christmas Edition Royal Brackler 2007. This cracking cask strength Christmas Edition Royal Brackler from the UK's oldest and some would say worst indie bottler spent 12. He didn't say that bit, by the way.
Yeah,
that was my slur. No one else's. Spent 12 years in refill hogsheads before a further 2-year maturation in fresh Pedro Jimenez butts. A very special seasonal sipper, a merry sherry Christmas to all. So for free, actually no, by the time I uploaded it, for 6 months ago, Merry Christmas. Nose. Wonderfully spiced mix of fresh and dried fruits, apples, pears, there you go, and melon from the distillate, and sticky figs and dates from the wood. Dates from the wood. It's like a druid date.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah. You went highbrow, I went lowbrow. That is the usual. And we both went to, and I'll get to Scotland before ye.
It's spicy on the nose. I will give it that. Sorry, I was just
a couple of references strung together was the best jokes in it.
Yeah.
I mean, not even like decent references, just 5 whiskey drunk references.
Yeah.
Right, what are we doing? Smelling it. Okay.
Yeah. It's spicy.
It's quite.
I do like that melon note actually. I think like a honey maybe.
Honey. I'd go honey itself.
Maybe.
There is kind of a.
It's got some kind of fruit to it. So it
has got.
The apples, pears, and melon, I think.
We'll go orchard fruits.
Yeah, but I do think it's closer to a melon, but not like watermelon.
Right, we'll go with melons then. Melon.
Like, yeah. That's 5 drinks, whiskey's drunk that you just pluralized melon and it made me laugh.
Yeah, everyone likes melons. Melon and honey on the nose there. Right, you should be tasting when you dive in. Yeah. The palate leans more towards the thick sherry wood influence with prunes, clove rock, toffee, and honeycomb all swirling around. And yes, I do say thick with an F because I'm common. Oh, sorry, because I'm common. As you can tell by the fact that I just repeat on me a little bit. I don't believe in THs. Wrong postcode.
Have you
I'm going for it.
Had a sip yet? Berry Bros might have redeemed themselves.
That's different, and
that tastes like caramel.
It does taste like caramel.
Like straight up the caramel you get out of a Galaxy caramel or a Cadbury's caramel.
Yeah.
Like
there is like a little bit of bitteriness to it.
I feel like caramel always has that edge to it, but
yeah, maybe like a dark chocolate note. But it's like if the caramel was like a caramel coloured bar, like going off into space. There's like a string of like dark bitteriness through the middle of it. Yeah.
It tastes like it tastes like a dark chocolate millionaire shortbread. But with like a thick layer of caramel.
Yeah, I like that. Dark chocolate millionaire shortbread.
I'm talking. There's as much caramel as there is biscuit on this millionaire shortbread.
Yeah. I'm going to put indulgent.
That's very nice.
That is very nice. Yes.
And I'm glad I got an extra 2.5 mils of it.
Yeah, that's like 3 decent swallows rather than 2.
Yeah, that is where that extra 2.5 makes you able to have like a drink and then you get a final wee sip.
Yeah, that's nice. That is very nice. Okay, final scores for that one then. What would you like to give it?
So I'm going to go and do a thing.
Okay.
And shut all my scores down a half.
Okay. That's going to make the
Give this one a
scorecards
4.5.
annoying to make, but okay. So we're going to give this a...
No, you know what? Right. Just leave everything and put this at 4.5 as well.
Okay, so
but it's a high 4.5. You can put that in brackets.
Yep.
Like it's pushing the boundary on a 5.
High 4.5. Yeah, and I will give that a straight up 4.5 as well.
Obviously, a 5 is a perfect whiskey, is what we're saying with a 5.
I don't think you've got a 5.
And that's my problem. I struggle to ever say this is perfect.
Oh, no, you do. You do.
What one is it?
Boutique Whiskey Co. Cameron Bridge, 27-year-old.
I remember it was very good.
I gave that one... I also gave that one a 5.
Yeah. So, I think...
That must have been pretty good if we both gave it a 5.
I think I remember it being pretty good.
Yeah, very good by the sounds of it.
Yeah. I think it was one where we were both sitting there and we were like, 4.5, and then we were like, I don't know that I can give it a 4.5 better than all the other 4.5s. And we were like, oh, it's gonna have to be a 5.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy that one slightly more than the Milk and Honey,
but not enough to say it's not enough to say that it's not the 2 extra whiskies or the 3 extra whiskies I've had since I tasted that have definitely colored my opinion. Yeah. That's the hard bit, isn't it? It's hard to tell if you're just drunk.
Yeah. But that was a very high quality box. I mean, the Whiskey Miss ones always are. Let's be fair.
Yeah, they are. We love sherry
absolutely
whiskey, so.
Panders to our preferred style, which is although no Campbelltown. Well, maybe in the 48, but
the Glen Scotia, the Campbelltown.
No, I meant no. Why is my brain broken? Speyside.
I suppose it depends what's in the 48. Royal Brackler's Highlands?
I think so. I think we've done this before. Also, I just googled, by the way, and currently Tetris has outsold Wii Sports. GTA and Minecraft are the ones that have outsold Tetris. But I think there was a point, because bear in mind, Wii Sports hasn't really sold in the last...
Yeah. Royal Brackler's Highlands as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as always, we hope you enjoyed this episode. As I said at the start, things may change. Hopefully, going forwards, we're both a bit more settled now, and now we're hopefully getting back into it again. You may see some changes to the podcasts to improve them. We hope so. We are trying, but we do have a day job as well, unfortunately, because you guys don't support us enough. If you'd like to start,
we need to start up either an OF or a Patreon.
Yeah,
you guys can decide which one.
Where we just open, if you don't pay, then we strip. Yeah, and if you each just contributed like £30,000 a year, we'd easily be able to do this properly. But it's low donation. Those Russian oligarchs out there who are trying to dump the money before they get sanctioned, we'll take it. I don't care where it's come from.
Just make it an anonymous donation.
Yeah, please. Yes, and we shall probably offend you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. Although this is probably in the middle of a glut of uploads at some point. But
probably, yes.
Cheers for listening.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.